Yo, what's good, guys? I'm gonna show you how to sound exactly like Lil Uzi Vert with a vocal mix, specifically on the song Do What I Want, but it's that typical Uzi vocal that sounds really dope. I'm gonna show you how to do it. If you don't believe me, check it out. This is me singing Do What I Want to sound like Lil Uzi. The mix is the same. Check it out.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now.
All right, so if you want to sound like that, like I did, sound like Uzi, I'm going to show you how to do it. And if you don't use Logic, luckily for you, I got these templates available for Logic, Pro Tools, FL, and GarageBand. So if you use one of those, hit the link in the description. You can download the template. It's only $20. Or you can follow along and do it, recreate it yourself and copy it. It's up to you. I'm gonna show you it all, no hidden secrets. But if you want to support me, you can cop the template, and they are buy two, get one free. I got a ton of them, so check that out. But enough of that, let's break down the mix. First, I'll show you what my vocals sound like with nothing, so you can hear how bad it is and how good it's able to sound with a mix. So you can be like, oh, okay, I can do this too. Ready?
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
So if your vocals sound awful like that when you record them, don't worry, because I got you. I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. First up, gain plugin. This is for my template people, so you can adjust your recordings to match mine so that the rest of the chain works. But it's bypassed, it doesn't count, no processing. So the first real plugin we got is pitch correction. This is our auto-tune. 0 response, 0 tolerance, max auto-tune. Of course, here's how it sounds.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
So that's probably the most prominent effect in this vocal, is heavy tuning. But then we're going to go into the channel EQ. This is the next most important thing for the vocal. To get it that telephonic, Uzi sound and tone is we use this EQ curve. It's very excessive. It cuts out a lot of lows, but that's how we get that thin, nasally, but dope sounding Uzi vocal. All the values are down here if you want to pause and copy it, but basically just rolling off a ton of lows and cleaning up a ton of the mids. Here's what it sounds like. It's going to sound thin, but trust the process.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Okay, like I said, thin, but trust it. With the compression bringing it back up and clamping on it, it's going to fit in perfectly. So now we got a compressor, Studio FET. Here's the values. I'm using a 4:1 ratio, try to get some 1176 style compression. Watch the needle to see how much compression we get.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I.
Okay, usually compress a little heavier there, but hey, whatever, man, it sounded good. Next thing, compressor again, vintage VCA. Here's the values. You can pause and copy if you want. Make sure you turn the mix knob down a little bit, but yeah, watch the needle.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Multipressor. A lot to say, so I'm not going to. Pause it and copy it if you want, but just tightening up the vocal, making sure it doesn't poke out anywhere or dip down anywhere, just kind of leveling it out frequency-wise and hugging it. That's how I like to view multiband compression on a vocal. Here it is.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Another channel EQ, more aggressive EQ. It's what the vocal called for. Rolling off a lot of the lows, once again, a little bit of mid clean up here, also boosting in the mids to get that nasally telephonic vocal effect. And then, you know, a little bump in the highs, but also rolling off the super, super highs because the vocal is very, like, closed off and muffled, but not in a bad way. Here it is, what it sounds like.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
So yeah, now you can see how it's shaping up. We're another compressor here, Studio VCA. There's all of the values. Check it out.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
A lot of heavy compression, but it pushes it forward in the mix. Then finally, we got an exciter, add silver preset, but I definitely changed it. The frequency 610, the lowest amount of harmonics I think you can do. Here's what it sounds like. Very subtle.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Cool. Now for our buses, we got bus 1, -26.9. I got the tape delay. There's the settings. quarter note delay, a chorus, there it is to give us a modulation, and then a filter to filter it off, mostly in the highs, very subtly, 98% cutoff. There it is if you want to copy it. And then all of this is being sent to bus 3, which we didn't talk about yet, but we will. But bus 3 is going to be a reverb, so it's just an eighth note or quarter note delay with a little bit of reverb on it. Here is what it sounds like.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Gives it that effect. And to be fully transparent, I did do some automation. I had to automate the throw for the echo that we just talked about to get the effect, because you can't do it statically, but it's still going to sound good even without the automation. But just so you know, there's the automation if you really wanted me to be thorough, because like I said, no secrets. Okay, bus 2, negative 22.2. We got the Quantec room simulator, live room preset. Don't think I touched it, but here's everything. Room reverb, check it out.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Cool. Just brings it to life. Makes it feel live. Bus 3, negative 23.6. Space Designer. This is the reverb we were talking about. 2.6 second vocal plate preset. Here's the settings in case I change them. Here's the output EQ with the values down here. I just made it darker and rolled off some highs. Okay, here's what this sounds like.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Cool. Bus 4, negative 27.1. We got the ensemble. It's just some doubling. The doubler preset. Don't think I touched it, but there it is. Here we go.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Little modulation, can't really hear it, more so feel it. Bus 5, negative 34.7. Same idea. We got the flanger. Not going to be heard, going to be felt. Here it is.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
You guys remember that move? Bus 6, negative 25.7. We got the chroma verb, brass hall preset. I probably changed the EQ. So look at, here is the nodes and the values. If you want to copy it, here's everything. And there's this. I don't know if I touched this or not, but there it is in case to be thorough. Here it is once again, Lil Uzi Vert, Do What I Want vocal template available for download in the description. Let's go.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I...
Banger. So if you want to sound like Lil Uzi Vert, download it in the description. Hopefully you took something from this or learned from it. Like I said, the templates are only 20. I got FL, Pro Tools, GarageBand, and Logic. So if you use that, make sure to cop it. Buy 2, get 1 free. I got a ton of bangers. Filming them right now. I just filmed one. I'm filming 4 back to back to back. So thank you guys for rocking with me. Inswain with Inswain Audio, man. Peace.